I feel like there's a bit of a misconception going around right now that the idea of expanded universe cars is relatively new, or at least since 2020 with the XRS lines. And that is not the case at all. Mattel conceived of expanded universe series way back in the early 2010s with the Transcontinental Race of Champions that included Neon, Silver, Ice, Carbon, and Carnival World Grand Prix lines. And this was before they were part of the main line. This was before Mattel really kind of went willy-nilly doing rescue, rocket racers, mud racers, global racers cup, all sorts of stuff, Fireball Beach, Thomas. Like, it seems right now they are just throwing whatever they can at the wall. But back then, they were a lot more focused, a lot more dialed in. And we're going to get into all of that today. There's so much to talk about. I'm really excited about this video. It's something I'm super passionate about. And that is this custom of Carnival Racer Frosty. So you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Now, I'm going to show you where Frosty appears in Cars 2, but asterisk, only the Australian version of Cars 2. Yep, Frosty is one of those racers, one of those characters that only appears in an international version of the film as a part of the localization effort to appeal to the audiences of that particular nation, whether it be Memo Rojas in Mexico, Fernando Alonso in Spain, Vili Petrov in Russia, Longa in China, the list goes on and on. Mark Frosty Winterbottom voices and basically inspires the car here we know as Frosty. Now, every time Frosty was released from the beginning with the Super Chase, just a regular Frosty, he has been exclusive to Australia. That has not been the case with any of the other ones. Trust me, Longa, not exclusive to China. In fact, Mattel does not sell cars in China. So, very interesting. It's always been a pretty cool case study with Frosty and how passionate the fan base is down in Australia, or down under, I should say. You know, I have some great friends in Australia, and it's been cool to kind of learn about it and follow the story. But it all started with just original Frosty. And then as Mattel went through these Transcontinental Race of Champions series, note the silver line was not a part of the TROC when it first came out in 2013, but when it was re-released in 2015, it was. So keep that in mind. Frosty had always accompanied that, just in Australia, in his own world. And it's pretty cool. It's like Australia always gets like a bonus exclusive car whenever this new line comes around. You had Neon eventually in 2014. Ice in 2015. Some of these are a lot rarer than others. None of the TROC Frosties are as rare as the original Super Chase, which makes sense because none of them are Super Chases. But the Neon one is a lot easier to grab, I think, than like Carbon or Silver. I'd have to check eBay to kind of get a gauge on the full rarity, but here's the Carbon version, which was the last. And you might be wondering, well, why didn't they do a Carnival version? This was the final Transcontinental Race of Champions series in 2016. Why didn't they release Carnival Frosty? We don't know. To be quite frank, there are probably tons of canceled cars that we just don't know about from Mattel. I mean, we know about so many. It really begs the question just how many there are that we don't know about. And I truly believe that Carnival Frosty is one of those. And I just think, again, 2016, that's the year before Cars 3 came out. A lot of stuff got scrapped before the third movie came out. I think Carnival Frosty is one of them. We just don't have official confirmation of that. And obviously, therefore, we don't have an official image of it. So customizer Shane Cooper created this design, this artwork for Carnival Cup Frosty, all from scratch. I did help out a little bit in some of the suggestions and all that, but it really was all him. And obviously, he did all the decal creation, painting, and everything that you see here going on. We used a Max Schnell as the donor. I think it might have been a GRC Max Schnell, because that's what has been out over the last couple of years that would amend or lend itself to this custom here, and I just couldn't be happier with it. I hope you guys like it, because I know it's something a lot of people have always dreamt about and wonder, what would a Carnival Frosty look like? And here it is. I'm pretty sure if Mattel released this guy, it would look very similar to what we're working with here today. So we're going to just go ahead and review him, and then we'll do some comparisons. But first off the bat, that is a big zoom in. We're going to take a look at his eyes, I guess. And this is kind of a new expression from what we've seen with other Frosties. I'd say it's probably most similar to like the neon version, but definitely not as mean. Doesn't look quite as mean as Neon Frosty. And Ice Frosty looks, yeah, he's pretty much the same. So yeah, the eyes are a little closer to the eyelid. You have the eyeliner, and the mouth, you know, is Max Schnell's mouth, which is, yeah, a little friendlier, I think. I don't know, maybe it is the same. Maybe I'm just tweaking, but yeah, just the way the eyes are placed on Neon and Ice Frosty look very mean. But yeah, I think it looks great. The red splitter is a great color contrast with the yellow. And we have to remember, Carnival Cup, all the designs are just kind of funky. Like some colors are very random, and that lends itself to the aesthetic that they're trying to go for with the Carnival Cup that was hosted by Carnival in Brazil. There you have the official Carnival Cup logo featuring the Brazilian colors, green, yellow, and blue. I like the green stripes over the fenders there. And every Carnival racer had a wacky color of tire, and Frosty's just happens to be this forest green. And I think it would have been cool maybe if they were a little brighter, but we don't want to make anything look too weird or out of place. Like, that was the balance that all the Carnival racers struck for me. Is like, even though Carnival has these bright yellow tires, it fits with her design, right? And there are some other ones too that we'll get to. Like, I think Max Schnell, you know, obviously mainly being a purple racer, you throw these red tires on him, still looks really good. So I think similar here with Frosty. You do have his number 12, which was revealed to be 12 in his other releases, like the Carbon Racer version and the Ice Racer version, because his first couple releases did not have a number. You know, this is just your regular version, no number. The silver version is, yeah, just kind of a copy paste of that. And the neon version sadly didn't have a number either. It really should have had a number, because this is the point where you're getting into like the full-on transcontinental race of champions idea, and the fact that, you know, it takes place after Cars 2, and, you know, you can kind of rationalize the silvers as like special editions, even though when they came back in 2015, they were 100% on the card back, classified under the TROC. But anyways, topic for another day. You can see kind of the texture of the body here with the lines, the slits across the doors. It looks really cool. Love the supercar text there as well. And this kind of two-tone yellow-blue with half of the Australian flag, the Union Jack, and then you have all the stars from the Australian flag mixed in as well. Just beautiful. And similar to the splitter, you have a great color contrast here in the back with a red wing, Carnival Cup in blue. You have Frosty's number there on the sides with a white background. That looks really good. Some stars here. Like, everything just works for me. It's not trying to do too much. There aren't an overload of decals, which I feel like you can kind of get away with, or you can kind of fall down that trap when you're making your own design. You want to throw everything you got at it. It's like, oh my God, like maybe we could even somehow mix in the continent logo of Australia there that we see on every single other version of Frosty. And while that would have been cool to kind of keep that consistency, I'm not sure if that's what they would have done with Frosty here. I think, you know, the Carnival Cup logo on the hood really works. You know, maybe they would have gone for the continent of Australia, that image there. But I really like the design that Shane ended up creating here and executing perfectly to the diecast. Let's take a look here at the base again. Looks like he wiped away the date stamp, so we don't even know when this guy was made. But he was made in Thailand, that we do know. But yeah. So before we go to the rest of the Carnival racers, I want to know from you guys, who is your favorite version of Australia? Oh my gosh, Mr. Docketer, of Frosty. That just goes to show how interconnected the two are at this point in my mind. It's like I can't not think of Australia without thinking of Frosty. It's like a kangaroo, basically. It's like the national animal of Australia. But who is your favorite version of Frosty? Mine, the Carnival one, it has to be, right? But there is some recency bias. It's a custom that I commission. I understand. If it wasn't for the Carnival version, it would probably be the carbon version, because he looks so different with the gray carbon fiber. You have the blue trim around the silver wheels, and the expression is a lot more similar. It's pretty much identical to the original Super Chase version, so it's a little nostalgic in that right. Whereas the silver version like kind of flips the expression 180 there, and then the ice and the neon versions have this like mean, just mad mugging it, or ugly mugging it, however they say. But yeah, looks so good to finally have everyone here complete. It really is a shame that they didn't do a Carnival Frosty, because Mattel had a really good track record going after coming off the gates with silver. It's like, okay, you didn't do Rip Clutch Gonski. You canceled Rip Clutch Gonski. Don't know why. You didn't release him even when you re-released the whole line in 2015. Like, I don't know what we're doing. Okay, then Neon, just utterly abysmal. No Jeff Gorvet, Francesco, Carlo Veloso, Rip Clutch Gonski. Like, what are we doing? Why aren't we releasing some of the most popular? Especially with Francesco, it just made no sense to me. But then you got to the Ice Racer line, and not only did you get every one of the main World Grand Prix racers, you got Vitaly Petrov, because he was the host in Russia, and you got Frosty. So that made it the largest Transcontinental Race of Champions line. Then the Carbon race comes along. You don't have one of the international racers besides Frosty. It's not like Memo hosted it, so you have one less, but they still completed it. And then Carnival, where they completed again, but not Frosty. At least you got the original, like the same 11 in each of the last 3 lines. I think that's a big win, but not having Frosty definitely leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Until now, it only took 10 years to finally get this guy, because Carnival came out in early 2020 or 2016. It was like February, I think. Yeah, I think it was definitely right around February, March when the line debuted with a 4-pack and singles of Shu, McQueen, Carla, Francesco, and no, I don't know if Raul. I don't think Raul ever got a single. He was just exclusive to the 4-pack. And then they came out with the second wave. There were only 2 waves, interestingly enough, and then they did, in that wave, Miguel, Max, Rip, Lewis, and Nigel. Yep, that's right. And that second wave, they did a second version of McQueen with yellow tires and a yellow wing, contrasting the original orange version here. Now, if I have that backwards, you can shoot me. What the hell? I don't think I have it backwards. I'm pretty sure the orange one came first. And I don't think Raul ever got a single release. I think he was exclusive to the 4-pack that peg-warmed out of everyone's you-know-wheres. And now it happens to be very expensive online. So it always bothers me. It's like, man, if I look at some images back in the day of stores, took pictures of the pegs and all that. I love Francesco, by the way. This one's beautiful with the bright green tires. I'm like, if I bought everything at this store from the car section and sold it in 2026, I would have 10 times my money. Like, sure, some things probably only like doubled in value, like a single of, I don't know. What's a good example? Justin Partson, which might even be more, but let's just, say that. Like, he might be $20 now. It's like, okay. But some of the bigger items or some of the deluxes or 2-packs, especially deluxes, you could have been definitely like 5 times in your money or even more. And with these Carnival racers, the second wave was extremely rare. So if you have a packaged version or even mint loose versions of Miguel, Max, Nigel, Lewis, Rip, some good cash right there. Now, I will say all of these guys, for the most part, have like a matte finish. So the glossy finish on Frosty does look a little out of place, but overall, a fantastic job from Shane Cooper. I'm so glad to finally have this. The reason that it just never came about is because we didn't have a design for it, and so that adds an extra barrier for the customizer. And so, again, Shane Cooper, thank you so much for taking this upon yourself and actually coming up with a new design. I don't think many customizers would do that. I think they would just be like, you know what, nah, too much work. And even if I'm willing to compensate, just don't think that's a lot of people what they want to do. You know, there's a lot of easier customs to be made out there. So this feels really good. I feel like a part of my soul has finally been filled, and I hope you guys do too. You can always reach out to Shane Cooper using the contact info in the description below and get one of these yourselves, or at least ask politely and maybe he will make one for you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.